So the first step I'm going to share today is actually a practical one. And that means that you're actually going to touch your child's device and use some safety settings. So we're talking about using and turning on parental controls and restrictions on all of your child's devices. And possibly if your children are using your device, the parental device, then there is no reason why you shouldn't be turning these restrictions on there as well. There is always the opportunity to turn that restriction off if you really need to access something, and then turn it back on, so that when there are times that you hand your phone or your tablet, whatever it might be, to your child, you know that your device has had the restrictions set as well. So the first area I'd like to talk about are search engines. Now, the most popular ones that we use, that our children use today, are Google, Yahoo and Bing. Now, I don't know if you've ever accidentally typed something into a search engine and been surprised at the results you get back. Just as an example, in Google, children might accidentally type in sex instead of six. They might decide they'd like to know about boobies, for example. And I encourage you, before you actually turn on these settings, to sit down and have a play, type some things in, and just see for yourself exactly what comes up. And I'm not just talking about content. If you're thinking, oh, well, my child can't read, this doesn't really apply, then think again. Because when you have a look along the top of search engines, you'll see that there's an images tab, there's a videos tab, there's a shopping tab. Now, just imagine your child did type in sex, and now imagine what will happen if they click on videos, for example. So search engines, the popular ones, come with a safety setting called Safe Search. And what that does is it filters out a lot, and I'm not saying all, but I'm talking a lot of adult content. Things that you don't want your child to see, things that you probably don't want to see, and things that kids can't unsee. Once they've seen something, some inappropriate images, they're not going to be able to forget it. They've seen it. Okay, so that's the first setting is search engines. The next one I'd like to talk to you about is YouTube. Kids love YouTube. They love watching videos about cats, about dogs, funny videos. They even like watching videos about people, other children, unpacking boxes, go figure. It can provide hours of entertainment. It can also lead to them watching videos that are not appropriate for their age, things that you don't want them watching. So with YouTube, you can turn on restrictions, and you must lock it. And what the restrictions do is they restrict, as the name suggests, the videos that come up to the side there. So you've probably seen, if you do a search, a number of other videos within that search will also come up. So it'll go through, it will restrict the ones that appear that your child can click on. And it also turns off or disables the comments underneath each video, so that your children cannot read inappropriate language or people who are making nasty comments, that type of thing. Now, YouTube do have filters in place, and it will catch most things, but it won't catch everything. So there are millions of videos uploaded to YouTube every minute of the day. And some of these users who upload them, they are very savvy with the tags that they use. And so when YouTube's filtering systems are looking through and they're going, okay, well, this one's okay because of that tag, this one's not okay, it's not always catching the inappropriate material. So it is really important to know that YouTube restrictions cuts out a lot, but it won't cut out everything. My advice to you would be, particularly if you have really young children, is to use YouTube Kids, and now even that is not 100% safe, but you can control the channels that your child views. So you can go in and add something that is known to be safe, such as ABC Kids, And that way, when your child goes into YouTube Kids, they're only able to watch those ABC Kid videos, the ones on that channel. So that's YouTube. That's something you can walk away today and do on all of your child's devices. So any device your child uses that has YouTube on it, you will have to set the restrictions on those devices. Okay, computers and laptops. Now, most homes these days will have a desktop machine or a laptop, either Windows, Mac. You might have more than that. So both of these the Macs and Windows both provide what is called parental controls. Now, they're very, very similar. They work a little bit differently. Some of them offer some different features. But what you can do is you can set up an account for your child. So you might have an account for yourself. That's the adult account. You use your password to log in. Your child doesn't know it. And then you set up the child account. And the child account means that you can restrict content to their age group. You can block or add websites that it's okay for them to watch. And you can also, in both Windows and Macs, allocate time when it's okay for them to be on the internet. So these are things that are at your fingertips. They're actually on your computer right now. All you need to do is go in and set it up. And if you have multiple children of multiple ages, again, you can set up several different accounts, one for each child, each one age appropriate. Each child has their own password. So that's computers and laptops in the home. Smart devices. So when I say smart devices, I'm talking about Apple, iPads, iPhones, iPods, Samsung phones and Samsung tablets, and then there's the other Android. Now, specifically with Apples, they have restriction settings. So you can actually go in. Now, the restriction settings have a variety of options that you can use. You can turn on the camera or you can turn it off. You can disable iMessages if your child is really young. You can specify the TV rating suitable for your child. Got a young child, they're only able to watch G or PG movies. So you can actually go through and limit their access that way. Now, lots of parents say to me, but I use that device as well. And I say, you can turn off the restrictions. So you need to set up a passcode to start with, and don't tell your child that passcode, and you can set all of the restrictions. And if you need to turn them off, then you use the passcode to disable it. Now, just a word of warning is that if you do disable it, you will need to go through and re-enable all of the settings that you had. Gaming consoles, hugely popular in lots of homes today. Now, did you know Xboxes, Nintendos and PlayStations all have a parental control or like a family control area? So the same thing as the Apple iPads, you can actually restrict the content that is being available to your child. So if you have a young child, you can make it so that it's only G or PG rated. There are all sorts of other things you can do. You can turn web filtering off. You can create accounts for different children. You can use passcodes to lock things. I encourage you, identify what you have in your home, and it's not difficult to work out or to look up how to set the settings for your child or children. Smart TVs, how popular are they now? Now, some smart TVs will restrict you. Others have heaps of apps available for you to select. So I'm just going to touch on the most popular things. Now, TVs, and you don't need a smart TV for Foxtel, but Foxtel does have parental controls. So you can go in and set those so that your child is not viewing inappropriate content. Now, for some reason, you need to view something and it's locked. Go in, you use your passcode, you can watch it, and then you turn the passcode back on. Please don't share the passcode with your children. Don't use something that is obvious. Netflix, same deal. you've got several kids, my advice to you is to set it at the lowest level. You can see there from the picture, there's little kids, old kids, teens and adults. Again, you can use your passcode to set or disable as necessary. You can set up a parent's account. Smart TVs in particular, they have, most of them have YouTube. You need to go in and set the YouTube restrictions that we spoke about earlier. And a lot of smart TVs, depending on the model that you have, also have browsers. So that means that your child is using the internet, but on the TV. So you're going to want to go in there and set some restrictions or set up the safe search options for the search engines so that your child is not Googling inappropriate things, or they could be Googling something quite innocent. This does happen, and inappropriate material comes up. So they are some of the parental controls that you can use in your home today. Just take your time with this. You don't have to do it all at once, but what I would suggest is that you start off by making a list of the devices in your home, and then come back, have a look through this video, pause it if you need to, pause it on the first page, the search engines, go through and set Google Safe Search on each of your devices, and then move on. Okay?